Hi everyone. So finally we are here with our next session with Node.js. Have you remember in our previous lesson, we learned there what is Express and how we use Express in our Node.js. Okay. So I hope you getting all the your confusion and everything related to Express, and I hope you visit documentation of Express. Okay. So now we are going to explore our session further. So now we can see here our code is there, and we import our Express and just create a server with the app. Okay, like we are exporting Express and just call the Express function and store this inside a app variable. Then after we use app.listen to create our server. Okay, now you can observe something. We sending some numeric values inside the listen. What this is 3000. What is actually 3000? Okay, so any browser, if you see any browser, this browser run over one specific port. Okay, that means our server is running over one port. We have to provide one port for uniquely identify that server. Okay, so is there any range of the port? Yes, the range of port is greater and equal to 0 but less than 65,536. That means what? You can't give the put value uh, apart from the range. Okay, like we are here and we are just run our application. Okay, node index. Now our server is running over port 3000, right? But uh, let's see, we are creating one variable with port and give the port at whatever you want. Like I'm giving 3000 and just give the variable here. Okay, it's simple. And now, okay, so if I'm run this application again, okay, so you can see server is running over port 3000. Okay, now I'm going to change this port 3000 to 8000. Okay, what happened that time? Okay, so just run our file once, node index. Okay, you can see server is running over port 8000. What happened if I'm giving only 8? Is it possible to run our server over 8 or any single digit? Let's see. Okay, you can see our server is running successfully. Okay, so as I told you, the range of port is greater or equal to 0 but less than what? 65,536. Okay, now if I'm giving 65,535, okay, I'm just giving one unit less than the higher range. Okay, let's run our application. Okay, now it's run successfully. But if I'm giving instead of 5, I'm make it 6. That means the whole port is what? 65,536. That means last range. Okay, so in this case, we are getting error. We are getting error, and you can see the proper reason of error is mentioned here. Okay, now you can see optional port should be greater than 0 and equal to 0. You can see there is a greater than and equal to, so that your port can be 0. Okay, but less than 65,536. That means we can't give more than that, right? So this is about our port. Which port is applicable in Node.js? Okay. Now I'm giving the default port, whatever we use in previous lecture. So 3000 is our previous port, and we are working over this. You are free to use any number of port within range. Okay. Okay. Now, so what we are going to build in this lecture? Okay, not in specific this lecture, in this total whole series. Okay. So my motive is that first we are learning how to build APIs. Then after we will learn how to manage our API, how to enhance performance of our API. Then after authentication, authorization, JWT, and then after we will move toward the Google authentication and GitHub authentication, LinkedIn authentication, and we are using some job portal APIs as well. We are develop Instagram RESTful APIs. Like we are covering everything from Instagram, like post, update, delete, like, dislike, friend, chat, everything we are going to build in last of the session. So you have to keep your patience and learn everything, whatever I teach you. Then after watching the video, you should visit their official documentation to explore more knowledge about the specific topic. Okay. So uh, today we are going to create our first API with Express. Okay. Now in Node.js, if you want to use API and create APIs, so for the some HTTP methods is there, like some get method, some post method, some put method, patch method, delete methods. Lot of methods is there to help to build our APIs. Okay, like what actually mean of these methods? Like get APIs. Okay, if you are using get method, that means you are reading something from API, like you are getting some data, you are fetching some data from the API. Okay, what actually API? API is nothing but just application programming interface. Like just assume you are visiting one restaurant, okay, and you are sitting and just wait for your desk, and one waiter comes in front of you and he takes your order. Okay, you don't know, how they prepare your food, and where is food, and what actually used to build your food. Okay, you don't know anything about this. Okay, so just assume you are client, you are just need food. You said that waiter, please give me this disk. Then waiter takes your order and preparing your food. So you are getting food from whom? You are getting food from the waiter. That means waiter is your API. In this, actually, this process is applicable in web. Like in restaurant, you are getting food with the help of what? Waiter. Okay. Same as in our web development, we are getting data from the API, and API just taking your data with the backend logic. Whatever we write our backend logic, API just fetch take this data and give the clients. This is the simple and understandable example for you. Okay, I hope you understand what is API and why we need API. Like just assume you are opening your Facebook and you are getting like some post, like your friend and your friend, lot of your friends post over Facebook. You are getting every post. This data comes with the help of API. Okay, like you don't know what actually running behind the scene, how you getting your data. Whenever you open your Facebook, you are getting data. That means behind the scene, API just take the data and show you. Okay, so same things we are going to develop, and this is called what? RESTful APIs. Okay, so I hope you remember and you are understand what is API, right? Okay, so uh, in Node.js, we use Express framework to build our APIs. Okay, so this is about the get API. Get API we use when we need data from the API. But just assume you have to update something, like you have to save something, like you want to add some record, and you want to add some data, okay, for your future use. So you can use post method of API. With the help of post method, you can change the record. Okay, but if just assume, if you have existing record and you have to update their existing record with a specific changes, that time you have two options. You can use put method, as well you can use patch method. We are going to learn this difference between these two method in further session. But in this lecture, we just only understand what is put and patch and why we use them. Okay, so put and patch used for the update the record. Then after, if you have some data and you want to delete it. Okay, like you have some student record and you want to delete, you can use the delete method of APIs. Okay, so we are learning every methods in depth and step by step. You don't worry about it. Okay, now so that time we are going to create our first API with the help of what? Express. So we are using Express inside app. So app having ability to build our APIs. Okay, so app dot, just give app dot and use get method. Get method and give this type of characters and comma, and it take one callback. Okay, and with the any request, two things is there. Any API call, two things, almost two, but actually three things is there. But we are using at this moment we are using two parameters. Okay, like first is request and response. Okay, while you are fetching data from the server, server send request and response. Okay, in data inside request, and whatever you send back to the server, you can use response. That means this is your response. Okay, like if you are fetching data from the server, okay, and you are add giving some data to the server, like I have some record and I want to update this existing record, so that you sending some data to the server to uh, to update the existing record. Okay, so that your updated data stay inside request, and after updating the record, server send you response that successfully your data, your record is updated, and anything whatever server wanna send that time. Okay, so we are using request and response to handling these things. Okay, so at this time we are using get APIs, so we have to pass two variables, request and response. You can choose any name, but it's a recommended name. Okay, now like if anyone if our function is execute, then it print uh, get API. Okay, get API executing. Okay, okay, now we have to pass our URL, like which URL client have to send, like hit. I mean to say that you have one function with the with this. Okay, you can see this is normal JavaScript arrow function. Okay, when this function execute only when if user hit this URL. Which URL? Slash user slash get. Okay, it's depend upon you which type of URL you want use, like anything, any URL you can use here. Actually this URL only execute your this function. Okay, now we are just using it, how it work. Node and just give index, just press enter. Okay, you can see server is running. So now what we should do, just visit your browser. Okay, now first of all I have to say the browser like user slash get. You have to give same as you mention here. Okay, just copy and paste here and press enter. Okay, you can see our our browser is just loading, and we can't reach anything here. That means what? Our API is not working. No, actually API is working, but we have to save the browser. Actually, where actually browser going to search this API? We have to set it browser explicitly. So have you remember our server is running over 3000 port. Okay, and we are using what? We are using our local machine. Okay, so in this case we have to say the server like this. We are using what? Local host. Okay, and what is our port? Our port is what? 3000. You can see we are using like this. Okay. First you have to give your host name like localhost, then clone, then your port number over your application running. Then after you can able to give your API's URL. What is our URL? User/get. Okay, this is our API. Just press the enter. We can see if you are enter hit this API, this callback is executed, and if this callback is execute, then we are getting get API execution inside our what console. Okay, let's hit the enter. Okay, we are hitting enter. Just see our browser, our console. You can see get API is executing. Okay, that means what? If you are hitting this URL, this API, this callback is execute. Okay, if I'm just clear this console and just give something else, like something else, I'm giving giving invalid URL, and this URL is not exist in our application. So in this case we are getting nothing, because our browser just search this localhost and 3000 port, and just goes and search this URL, but he did not get any uh, any callback with this URL. That means we are won't get any output. Just give the enter. We're getting what? Cannot get this API. Okay, that means what? In our application, this API is not exist. So that we are getting this type of error. So if I remove this and just press enter, that time you can see we are getting get API executing here. Okay. Now, if this API is hit, okay, then I want send some response to the server. Okay, like uh, I'm sending the request of getting data. Okay, then after fetching data, server gives me respond. So how can we use this response and show the response? So use return response dot JSON. We are using JSON format to send response, and give just normal object message get API running. That's it. Okay, just close our application and run it again. Node index. Fine. Okay, just go and hit the URL. Okay, you can see server send the response message get API is running. How is done? Is it it's done because of this line. Okay, because as I told you, when we are calling APIs, there is two things is there: request and response. Okay, if server wants send response to the client, we can use response. Okay, if client sends some data to update something, so this data is kept inside what request. Okay, now server just getting this URL, then after it execute this callback, and inside the callback we are doing return. That means we are return from this function. What we are going to return? We are going to return response. In which format? In a JSON format. With which object? With object message having value what? Get API is running. That's it. Okay, it's so simple, not much complex. Okay, so this is simple, our get API, and congratulations, we are creating our first get API. So go and try to create this API. And if you're getting any problem while creating this API, just comment me, and I'm mention my all social media account. So if you're getting any error, just message me, and I will help you. Okay. So but one thing I'm going to say you again, you should learn documentation, because documentation is very important, and try to learn Express from documentation in depth, like what actually behind the scene Express doing. Okay, and it's only for the interview purpose. Okay, but while we are going to develop a project, you don't need to any theory. you need only practicals. Okay, so in this session we are only more focused toward the practical, but if sometime we need some theory, we will see it. Okay. Okay, so we will see you soon in next lecture. So just if you new in this channel, just go and subscribe and hit the bell icon to getting all the latest update and regarding my channel. And I'm just mention my LinkedIn in the description. So go and follow me over LinkedIn. I'm sending lot of questions and good some concept about JavaScript. You can go and see learn from there also. Okay, bye.